Hey guys, welcome to Snowbreak Containment Zone, and we do have Enya Tempest. And before I give you my yes or no if she is worth pulling, let us check her out first in terms of her skills. She is a skill damage DPS with the kinetic as her energy. So standard skill is going to be Tornado's Wake. This is simply her turning into a tornado, knocking targets in the air as she goes through them, dealing kinetic damage 0.2 seconds each time. And once you have wind power, which is 50, there's a gauge in the middle that generates more wind power. Then once you hold your standard skill, it will turn into a much greater skill than the original one. Okay, so wind power initial limit is 100, and you can consume wind power to use engulfing vortex. For each 20 wind power consumed, Enya gains 1 stack of wall cloud for 5 seconds, up to 5 stacks. If Enya takes damage while any vortex is active, she can consume 1 stack, and wall cloud can decrease damage by 20%. So she's not immune to damage while in the tornado form. The passive for this skill is Enya dodges. This is kind of her mini tornado. The use of the dodge is actually transforming into a tornado and quickly moving to a certain direction. Okay, you can direct wherever you need her to go, and rushes forward, continuously knocking target. It still has damage, only a little. This skill, this passive, is really for her quick movement towards the direction towards where mobs are at. Okay, so her neural skills, while any vortex is active, increase Enya's anti-interruption ability, decrease wind power consumed each by engulfing vortex to 25. So for her support skill, Ascendant Updraft, you won't be using her much as a support unit. So this one is going to be, as usual, it's a damage dealing support skill. Let's go on to her ultimate. Okay, it's Voidborn Cyclone. So cooldown 60 seconds, U energy is 20. Must have 20 or more U energy to use ultimate skill. Enya consumes all U energy to unleash an instantaneous cyclone, knocking targets with a large range into the air and dealing 1 instance of kinetic damage. This is going to be your biggest damage dealer in terms of all of her skills. This has I think a bigger area than her standard skill. So let's go to her alignment index, or Deus alignment. If Enya's skill hits less than 5 targets when equipped with a kinetic weapon, increase the final damage of Enya's skill by 37.5%, in which the multiplier is going to be 4, because it kicks up at 4 and goes to 1. So if you have 1 target or a boss, the damage multiplier is going to be at 150%. So with an additional for each 100 alignment index, increase Enya's attack at an extra 5%. So the most important part of her alignment is actually the multiplier at 150%, which I think, based on the base damage of her skills, is not gonna take her to the top tier. She's gonna probably be in the 0.5 tier, going to your tier 1. I'm looking at her at that right now based on the multiplier, and more or less, let's take a look at the other multipliers that she has. For her weapon, definitely, if you don't have extra pulls, you could use her SR weapon. This one has additional increase kinetic damage as well. Kinetic damage and increased damage taken by targets from equipping operative skill by 18%. So additional increase in damage, nothing special. For her logistics though, I actually want her in the game. Gleam, we have 3 officers every second while Enya Tempest is using a vortex. She gains 1 stack of Luminous Breeze for 8 seconds, increase skill damage by 12%, and increases damage dealt of standard skill by 8% as well. So a couple of multipliers here. It's not unusual actually for any kit to have, to have multipliers, but for the manifestation, I think you should be aware of this. For the kinetic weapon, increase skill damage by 25%, which is actually great. Then you have increased amount of wind power gain for each Swift Vortex and Howling Vortex hit by 25%. So she gains it more faster. At M2, each time Enya deals target while Howling Vortex or Engulfing Vortex is active, decrease their defense, so decrease defense as well, up to 20%. M3 is going to be giving her Enya's skill ignores 50% of target's kinetic resistance, which is actually not, which is good but not great. And the last one is going to be give her an additional final damage of next engulfing vortex by 15. This one, M4, is going to be just additional stats, additional damage, and additional stats here. Okay, and for her neuronics, if you can see here, these are just additional ones to her kit. Make sure that you prioritize standard skill and ultimate skill for her neuronics. Again, I won't say anything now. I want to compare, want to walk through all the other operatives that have similar function to her and have, similar role and similar function before we have, we decide on her right now. Okay, we're starting off with the Life Infinite Sight, but I'm not comparing Life with her because Life is definitely on a different category, which is ballistic damage. So right now, I'm telling you, it would be unfair to compare her. I just want to mention Life because of Life's ultimate skill. It was kind of patterned, or Enya Tempest's skills are kind of patterned after Infinite Life's ultimate skill. So that is just worth noting, but again, no comparison here. Next is going to be Haru, Abskun, Daitus. Both of them are mob clearers, especially, but I think Enya Tempest has an edge with this girl because Enya is for single targets can scale up in terms of in terms of her damage, especially for bosses, while Haru is not really meant for bosses, especially for those with multiple parts. So if you compare Haru and Enya, Enya takes the cake. Next is going to be with Agave, Vidya, or Vidya Agave. Definitely, I'd say Vidya's the edge. Has a little bit of an edge because she can break parts. Okay? So take note of that. She can break parts. And I think Agave is kinda the altered ego of Enya Tempest because Vidya can do it from afar, her skill damage, while Enya should, come close and deal her damage. But I'll give this to Agave in terms of mob clearing. She has a higher damage potential versus Enya. So we're going up the hierarchy in terms of damage dealers. Let's compare her with Enigma Cherno. Cherno is more of a mixed bag. She can do mobbing, she can do bossing, but if you have Cherno, I don't think you'll be needing Enya much. If you're if you're just going with mobs or mob clearing, I think Cherno is going to be your main. I don't think Enya is going to compete with her at any time. Okay, so one of the most versatile characters that we have is going to be Katya Dawnwing. So terrific for bosses, terrific for mobs as well. Again, Enya, in terms of damage output, if you compare her with Katya, is not going to be at par with her. Enya is kinda, if you want to see a benchmark, the damage for mobs is either going to be Katya, Cherno, and another one that we'll be discussing after Katya. So these girls are at tier 0. So in terms of damage output alone, Enya is not going to be at par with them, and especially with Katya Dawnwing here. Last one is going to be Series Kisana. Her kit is actually very simple. It's as simple as Enya. She does a lot of mob clearing, but she's also terrific in bosses. So that is why Enya, I don't think, cannot compete with Sears Kisana in terms of overall usability. So for Enya, those ops that I compared her with, those are her benchmarks. And right now, with a lot happening in her category as a mob clearer, I would say she's not worth pulling, especially if you have most of those like Sears Kisana, Katya, Dawnwing, Cherno, Enigma, Agave Vidya. I think those four alone will be sufficient for mob clearing. So definitely a no in terms of must pull. But if you are a new player, okay, that just started, that you came across Enya's banner and the other option is going to be Blue Bolt, I would suggest you get Enya in terms of if you want to either get Blue Bolt or Enya Tempest, go for Enya Tempest. I think that is one of the reasons that you should get her. The other reason is if she is your waifu, definitely get her. I would actually get her for collection purposes, and more or less her default skin is top two. Top two. I'm saying top two because either she has the best skin in the game or Katya Blue Bolt has the best default skin in the game. Only those two have the best default skins in the game. So right now, it's very situational if you want to pull for her or not. No again if you have all of those other ops. Yes, if you are new, just started now, and yes, if she's your waifu. So that is it. That is it, guys. Hopefully that will help. So thank you guys for staying this far. Take care. Stay safe. This is the Warden, and I'm out of here.